he thinks the angels carried him to a house to call for help because he doesn't remember walking 60 miles an hour into a tree.
Yeah.
Broke every bone in my lower mandible.
Welcome to Echoes from Beyond.
So I was about 21, 22 years old. I was homeless at the time. I had a crazy life. I ran away when I was 16 years old. I was on the streets, living in Providence, joining bands and stuff. And
Tell me about
uh,
that. Why did you move away? Was it a tough broken home or mom and dad wasn't there or what happened?
yeah, I mean, you can go all the way back. So I was raised by my grandmother. My mother had me when she was very young too, and she gave me to my grandmother who raised me. And yeah, it was just it was a very sheltered situation where there was nobody else. I didn't really have any other family, and I was just at that like you stay home and you don't leave the house, you don't have any friends, that typical stuff, which she was trying to keep me safe. I have nothing against her. She's dead now, rest in peace. Um, but things start when I was 14. That's when I found out she wasn't my real mother. It was a weird thing. We went sledding, and she was like, used to record me on a camera for proof that it was crazy, proof that she did a good job. And one day I was like, I don't want to sled, and she was like, I'm not your real mother. I was 14 years old, and I was like, no, I remember. And I
It
think
just came out
from
of nowhere, huh?
yeah, from that point, it was kind of like a downward spiral between our relationship. I started listening to like rock, not to relate it to music, but I started listening to rock music, like being more rebellious and stuff. And right around,
MTV was kicking off right around that time, wasn't it?
yeah, we didn't have cable, but some kids at school, I remember their names, Eric Bizier and Chris Bissette, gave me a tape for Green Day, Dookie, and it was like the first time I ever really listened to rock music. And I remember listening to it, and my grandma was like, "That's drug addict music, that's devil music," and I was like, "I kind of like it, ma." You know how you are when you're a kid. I like it, ma. But I think that kind of gave me on, put me on a little path of rebelliousness.
Hmm.
When I was 17 or so, 16 and 17, I ran away. Just started living on the street. I lived in shelters and people's garages and all kinds of stuff. Wherever I could. I had a car for a while. I was sleeping in the back of the car, but the cold winters, that sucked. There was like snow and ice in my beard. So I wound up finding a band. It was called Syndrome. I mean, not finding it. I started a band called Syndrome. I was a bassist, Dave Petrarca, drummer Alan Bajan, and bassist Brian DeChico.
Hmm.
That's it. So yeah. Anyways, we started a band. We moved a couple places. We got kicked out of a couple places because we were doing parties, like 40 kegs, and we
Wow.
found one place in Johnston, Rhode Island, and I was sleeping there behind an amplifier for a while. There would be like maintenance coming in, and I would have to hide, like, because I didn't want to make any noise because it's not zoned. You can't really live there. It's only $300 a month.
Hmm.
And then some kids used to come over, guys, I guess. Salvatore, I remember all these names. Salvatore, he let me borrow his car, and he had like this stupid racing car, and it didn't have any airbags, and it had bad brakes. And I didn't really know that. It was in the middle of winter. It was February. Actually, today literally could be the anniversary. I don't really know the date.
Wow.
And I was going out, and I was with my friend Alan, who was the drummer, Alan Bajan. We were going to someone's house for whatever reason. And I used to drive over this little bump. I used to call it my bump, which is so ironic as I look back at it. I used to be like, oh, here comes my bump. And then go woo over this stupid bump going down Reservoir Ave in Johnston, Rhode Island.
Uh-huh.
And one day I did it, and it was icy, I guess, black ice, and 60 miles an hour into a tree. I broke every bone in my lower mandible. This is all titanium inside of here. It's all these
Wow.
scars and stuff. So I kind of have a, you can say it, kind of a wide face. I didn't have a wide face before. It actually busted a lot of stuff. I
Wow.
wear, these are fake.
Uh-huh.
Um, and there's a lot of like, so when it happened, I don't remember much right at that moment. Of course, the police said, or the ambulance, they're like, we think you drove 60 miles an hour into a tree. And again, I was with the other guy, Alan. He had said that he believed that angels had carried him to a house. He wasn't religious either. He was kind of like a hippie pot smoker, and he just kind of said that he think thinks the angels carried him to a house to call for help because he doesn't remember walking. He just remembers being carried to this house, which is crazy.
He
I don't
literally
remember
said
any
I was
part.
like he felt like he was carried into a house.
Yeah, it's carried
Yeah.
to like a house to ask them to call 911 because we didn't have cell phones at that time.
Wow.
I didn't. I mean, I think they existed, but we didn't have them. We're just poor little street rats. Got them to call 911. I don't remember any of this. I was kind of slunched over the steering wheel, I guess. And I do remember waking up inside of the ambulance for a couple minutes, and it was just crazy. Like, it felt crazy. And I said, "Am I gonna die?" And the the ambulance, the EMT was like, "I don't know." And I remember hearing, "I don't know," and I was like, "Oh no, like this is serious, you know." And I fell back asleep. And then I woke up a couple days later. I'm gonna say it was like a day and a half. And my friend Pat Conway, he's another musician. I was always hung around with musicians. I still do, obviously, AJ.
Mhm.
I only connect with musicians on like social level. He held up a System of a Down CD at the back of it so I could see my face. And I was like, what the? It was just a mess. Everything
Oh,
was
your
crazy.
reflection in the CD
Yeah,
jewel
exactly.
case. Oh yeah, yeah.
There was no mirrors. He was just like, look. And I was like, ah, that's how it happened. That's the experience.
Incredible.
From that point on, things changed in my life. I felt very disconnected from everybody, everything. And that could have just been like, oh my God, like I need to change my life. I just got in a car accident. I'm living behind an amplifier in a room. Like that would make more sense, obviously. But I also felt like there's a big disconnection from I don't talk to my family anymore. I don't talk to any people I ever talked to. I felt like I was a different person. Like, not like I was better or I was smarter or stupider or anything like that. It was more like just a different like who the hell are these people and why are they all at this hospital? Not like I've lost my memory or dementia or amnesia or something like that. It was more like this disconnect, really. Like I knew who they were, I knew their names, but it just and as years went on, um, I mean, after the accident, they locked my jaw for 6 weeks. I was literally back in shelters in Providence and stuff, homeless again,
And you're
which
only
was crazy.
drinking like through a straw or having soups or like broth. That's all you
Mm,
can.
one time I
Whoa.
blended pizza and ice cream inside of it. I was so hungry, dude. I was
Yeah.
at that time I was like really undernourished and
Yeah.
skinny. And the first time I had food, like good food in a while, I had to blend it up and it was like ice cream, literally ice cream and pizza mixed up, which sounds disgusting. But my body was like, yes, like thank you.
Right.
The sauce and put some butter in there. It was crazy.
Did your face go through the windshield or did you hit
No,
the
no,
steering wheel?
the steering wheel.
Ooh.
Yeah. The other kid in the car, Alan, he actually got a concussion. Thank God he's not dead or anything like that. He's fine. He hit the dashboard with his head and got a cut. But yeah, I just went straight into this steering wheel.
Do you
And
remember, did you lose consciousness?
yep.
You did. Do you remember seeing a white light or meeting an angel or Jesus? Just,
No, I'm
no.
sorry.
That's
I
okay.
know, I know it's the typical near-death experience. Mine happened more like after. I do feel like it was a near-death experience. I did very much could have been dead. The
In the
looks of,
literal sense, yeah, absolutely.
yeah. There's been many times. This is not the only time I've had guns pulled to my head before, and it sounds like I don't know if you've had a wild life too, but there have been many points in my life that I look back at now and I think, well, I should have been dead, and I don't know if that means there's a better reason for me to live. You know what I mean? Like that whole like, there's
Yeah.
a poor purpose for you because you didn't die, or I'm just really fucking lucky. I can't even tell, but
A little bit of both, probably. A little bit of both.
yeah, I guess
Well,
so.
I was going to say, I want to hear more about what you're about to say, but I was going to say in my own case, there's two things I can remember where like something supernatural happened, which is what really fascinates me, which is what I love to talk about. And you said earlier you heard a voice talk to you on a different topic, but in my case, I was in a car accident as well as a passenger. This is also back in college, my sophomore year. We're coming back from a snowboarding trip. This is Westmont College in Santa Barbara, and we had four friends. I'm in the back right passenger seat, corner caddy corner to the driver, and we had a two cars in our little caravans. We had a truck that was lifted with a trailer hitch, and we had a Camaro. So the Camaro was riding behind the truck, and we're coming out of Rancho Cucamonga on the highway there, and it was just kind of cold and wet. All of a sudden, all the traffic comes to a halt, and I can hear the driver go, "Oh crap!" But I'm actually dozed off. You know, we've been snowboarding all day the day before, and I'm just like passed out in the back seat, and my seatbelt's not on. And as I'm waking up from my dream, I hear a voice that's not my own thoughts, and it just says, "Buckle your seatbelt." And I wake up and I buckle my seatbelt. I look up, and literally like 1 second later, all the traffic is, and then the
Wow.
driver's like, "Oh crap!" And we skid, and the Camaro skid into the back of the truck, and the ball hitch on the it hit the dash, it hit the hood of the car, and went and broke right through the windshield. And the driver's face was like that. I remember seeing this so vividly. The driver's eyeball was like half an inch from the trailer hitch
Oh
as it
my
came
God.
through the window. So he was
Crazy.
okay. I was okay. I could, I could rightfully tell the insurance I had my seatbelt on because I buckled up 2 seconds before it. But that was
So,
weird because the voice, it was like an angel or God just saying, "Hey, buckle up your seatbelt for safety." And it wasn't me. And then
well, you said angel or God. Do you believe in God? Are you Christian or what are you? If
I
you don't mind me asking.
100% believe in God. People will say I'm a Christian because I believe in Jesus too, but the religion around Christianity has done me dirty a few times. I've been kicked out of places for asking questions,
Oh my.
or I came across as rude. And so uh,
Accepted, AJ.
I'm a little bit critical of
Yeah.
some faiths. So
And
yeah, maybe I need to be less critical, less judgmental.
that's like Final Destination, especially with that eye next to the hitch kind of
It,
stuff. My
it was
gosh.
it was a little scary to be honest.
How old were you then?
It's like 20-ish at the time. Yeah, and then they wrote that up in the school newspaper. It said snowboarders thrash and crash, and there's a
Yeah.
picture of the accident, and the Camaro was totaled. I think the truck was okay though,
Wow. So
because the
you
back.
nobody was hurt inside of
What's that?
nobody got hurt?
Nobody was hurt, thankfully. We're all protected by the grace of God. I believe that's a thing. I believe angels are looking out for people. I think whether you're an atheist, agnostic, or whatever your religion, I think God or the universe, I really call it God, but angels can be looking out for you. Things will happen to help you on the way that are inexplicable. And I think I had a friend, an old roommate, he used to say, "Nobody can hurt you without God's permission." So if you're going through pain, you're going through that pain or suffering for a reason. But there's other times when you're absolutely saved from a catastrophic event and you're not sure why. But I think that's also the hand of God kind of working in a miraculous way, and it's all for your benefit. It's to boost your belief in the divine, to boost your belief in supernatural, to believe that miracles are possible. Another time, so this is super interesting, and I want to hear more about you, but I heard a voice when I was swimming in the Virgin River. So out here in Utah, we have a lot of national parks. Like 60% of the state is national parks. And Zion Canyon is like the number two, well, now it's probably number three, for it slipped a little, most popular park in the country. And I live 90 minutes away. So I'll take a day off. I'll go hiking all day. And I found there's a really cool trail. It's a slot canyon with a river in it, which makes it so unique. And hundreds of people will hike this every day. Well, the snow melts out of the mountains in the end of May, early June. And so the water flow in this little river can like double or triple. And I was hiking end of May, or maybe it was early June, and I met some people. I was going alone, but I met some people on the trail, and I made friends with this guy. I'm like, "Hey man, hold my GoPro. I'm gonna jump in. This is like my favorite swimming hole right here. I just want to do a backflip off of this rock, and I'm gonna splash around, and I'll get out in like 5 minutes." But there was a warning sign on the trail, and it was like snow is melting, water flows are triple the norm. Do not hike beyond this sign. Like the Park Service will arrest you or something. So
Hmm.
my favorite swimming hole was just before the warning sign. So I wasn't breaking any rules, but I'm like, I'm gonna jump in, splash around. So I jump in, I had my shoes on, and it's kind of like jumping in this pocket that I'm used to swimming in, but it was like a giant washing machine of churning water. And it just pushed me down the river, and I'm like going like feet first, and like I drop into a pocket, then I go down a little more, I drop into a second pocket, and the second pocket I fell into, it there was a giant log that was pinned between two rocks under the water, and the log
Mm.
slams up against my chest, and I'm now under the water in a pocket with a log keeping me from going forward, and like all this pressure, I don't know, like hundreds of pounds of water pressure on my back, and I'm 6 inches, the water is like just 6 inches over my head, and I can like feel the air, but I can't get over this log, and I have like 30 seconds of oxygen, and I just remember your thoughts go through your head so fast. I don't know, maybe it happened for you with your
Not that
accident.
time, but I understand what you're talking about for sure. Not the accident.
Yeah, so I had like 30 seconds to think, like, okay, like I should be able to push up over this log. Like I used to work at Gold's Gym. I was a lifeguard. I was on swim team. This shouldn't be that hard. And I'm like, man, that water pressure is no joke. And I'm like, well, I don't think I'm gonna get to say goodbye to my family. My new friend I met on the trail is holding my GoPro. He's gonna wonder where the heck I am. And I didn't think I was gonna go this way.
Free, free GoPro. Woo.
Yeah, I'm like, well, at least I died doing something I loved. And I'm like, I'm really running out of time to think, and all these stupid thoughts are going through my head. I'm just like, I didn't think I was going to die this way. I really didn't. And so, for some reason, you're kind of panicked and you're just thinking, I got to go over the log. And then all of a sudden, I exhale. I'm about to suck in water, and a voice goes into, I remember it's like the left side of my brain. This voice like whispers, why don't you just go under the log?
Mm.
And it was very peaceful, non-judgmental voice, just saying, giving me a little life suggestion here. Oh yeah. So like I shimmy under the log and it kind of scuffs me up, but I come out the other side, I pop up and I get taking a big breath of air. I'm like, oh, I guess that beats the heck out of drowning, because I was kind of scuffed up, but at least I wasn't dead.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy, man.
that was a weird second time where I heard a voice talk to me, and I'm like, I know it's like you can call it a spirit guide or an angel or God, but definitely it wasn't my own thoughts, because my own thought was I'm about to die, and why can't I get over the log?
Mm. Do you think it's the same voice that talked to you both times?
Maybe it is. I mean, I've heard people in NDE videos say that we all get like a guardian angel, and they kind of stick by our side, and if we're open to it, I don't know if we're open to it, if we're living a good life or living rightfully, I guess you might say, like the angel will guide you. But if you're straying off the path of life or you're being a bad person or an asshole, I guess maybe it's not there for you. I don't know. What do you think?
Mm. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I do believe in stuff like that too. And like you, I'm kind of like on the edge of agnostic and atheism and religion. I do believe in God. I don't get into the whole like classification, like I'm a Christian, but my wife, she considers herself a Christian and she does follow the Bible, and she believes in karma and stuff. And I do believe in that. And not just karma, like, hey, you do something bad, you're gonna get punished, but also just the way you said it. Like if you live and don't, you know, anybody over, kill people, or do things that are crazy, then there are whatever you want to call it, spirits or angels that will help you along the way. Or it's just the earth and karma saying like, he doesn't have to die yet. That's crazy though. I can't swim, so that whole fucking thing you just said sounds horrific. And I would have died. There would have been no voice. So like, after 10 seconds, I would have been breathing in.
I heard from another guy. He did drown. I forget his name right now. A black dude. He's on another NDE video, but he said he drowned in a freezing cold lake. I think he fell through the ice, if I remember correctly. But he said it just hurts for like 2 or 3 seconds. Like the water going in your lungs, it just burns like for like 2 seconds, and then you're out of it. And I
That's
thought,
crazy.
okay, that 2 seconds of pain. I mean, I've had pain that lasted way longer than that, but it just
Mm,
sounds freaky because like who wants to drown, right? And the other thing
no.
is like so I do identify as Christian, but like there's certain things I've had to like unbelieve, right? Like certain things that religion teaches that just logically it doesn't make sense. And just,
Like
you hear
what?
stuff in church, you know what I mean?
Like what?
Oh,
Just
like okay, so one thing I've heard like various pastors say like if you pray a prayer and ask Jesus into your heart, all your sins, past, present, and future, are all forgiven. I'm like,
Yeah, I hear you.
logically speaking, but Jesus is the Logos, right? In John chapter 1, it says the Logos was there as Christ. So logic dictates my future sins haven't been committed yet. So I don't have license to go and be an a-hole and rob banks and rape and kill and whatever, and be a jerk to everybody if I just pray a prayer, right? I can't just pray the prayer and then go commit sin. So, but they're not saying that either. That they're trying to. I think they're trying to use like a metaphor, like your future sins, you'll ask for forgiveness. But I don't like the whole idea of you pray a prayer one time. I think Christ taught us to be to persevere and work out your salvation on a daily basis. So you're always working on enlightenment or atonement. There atonement. Um, but the other recurring
Yeah,
thing I'm finding is I'd like to know your thoughts on reincarnation because the other recurring theme with all these NDEs, and this is not like a Christian teaching. So that's why I kind of have a hard time because I tell this to my Christian friends, I'm like, all these people are dying and they're going to heaven and they're coming back and they're saying reincarnation is a real thing. And I'm just like, I
yeah,
look crazy. And I used to think reincarnation was just bunk. Like, no,
yeah,
you die and then it's up or down, which is really like a kindergarten level thinking about it. But
yeah,
now people are talking about there's a space like a dark void, there's hellish realms, there's a heavenly kingdom way in the distance, there's meeting God, there's hanging out with your archive, the Akashic records, and there's yeah, this is gonna get out there, but
yeah,
there's like alien life forms and other planets that we haven't even heard of. So I'm like, okay, slow down, slow down. Let me just look at the reincarnation. And
yeah,
the last guy I spoke to, Aaron Green, he said, "Oh yeah, I got to see my past lives, and I got to see why I'm suffering a little bit, like in this current life, because I made some decisions, and he wouldn't call it right or wrong, but like I did some things that hurt people, so now I'm coming back, and I'm feeling those. I'm going through some experiences, and what really sold it for me was science, actually. So there's a science behind reincarnation. There's a doctor named Dr. Ian Stevenson, and he wrote a book called Children Who Remember Previous Lives. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of the book, but I've heard of children. I've seen videos of them, and I actually went to school with a kid that said he died on the Titanic. His name was Joe Scungio. He was like adamant about it, and I don't even know what happened to him. I tried to write him on Facebook recently, a couple years ago, being like, "Hey, something about Titanic." He never responded. I don't even know if it's the same kid, but I do have that. I've seen videos of like kids that are like, "I was in the war," it's creepy too, and they remember a lot more than they should. In terms of like details and stuff.
Details. So I'd love to talk to
Mm.
that guy if he ever reaches out to you. Like, so with the children who remember past lives, it was uncanny. So like imagine like third world country, no Wi-Fi, no computers, dirt floor on a hut. You're running from tigers. You're walking a mile to get dirty water and bring it back and boil it over your campfire. So little kids reaching age like 4 or 5, where they can start making full sentences and talking to their parents, they're telling their mom and dad, like, let's just say it's like Chad or Nigeria, Africa. They're like, oh, I remember my previous family. They live like 10 kilometers away in this village, and my dad does this for a job, and my mom's name is this, and I had a sister, little sister that survived me. And the parents of this boy, of this child, is like, is our kid crazy? Like, why are they
Mhm.
saying all this stuff? And an argument from someone from a first world country. Oh, the kid got on an iPad and they're researching Facebook and they're punking their mom and dad and they just found a family on Facebook and they're making up all these details and they're punk. There's no iPad, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no way the kid could research online and punk their mom and dad. So that debunks like the first counter argument. So, but what happened was these parents will then they'll trek all the way like 10 kilometers away and they'll find the home and they'll meet the family and this the family will say, oh yeah, we had a child die about 5 years ago and now this new child is about 4 or 5 years old, and like, yeah, that was our kid's name, that's how they died. And then it's all corroborated and they're like, and it's not just one, it's like dozens of stories. So this Dr. Ian Stevenson, his research team, they went to Africa and they just kept finding all these stories that just lined up and exactly as they said it would, and that became the book Children Who Remember Previous Lives. So I'm like, wait a minute,
Mm,
Now it's not just a faith thing or an idea, it's like scientifically proven through sociological studies, right? So that kind of blew my
mm,
mind. And then I started analyzing like even the Bible, like John chapter 3, where Jesus and Nicodemus are talking, and it's like the famous verse for God so loved the world. But just before that verse, John 3:16, it's like Nicodemus is asking Jesus about stuff, and Jesus tells him, "You have to be born again." And Nicodemus then doesn't say, "Okay, teach me how to pray and invite you to live in my heart, Jesus." He didn't say that because that's our concept of born again, is we pray the prayer, which isn't bad. It's not bad, but it's not accurate in my opinion. And so Jesus's response was, or Nicodemus's response was, "How do I go into my mother's womb a second time?" So he's actually talking about the concept of reincarnation in their conversation.
mm.
So like they discussed it, but modern churches won't teach that. And it bothers me. So I'm just doing it here myself on my YouTube channel because I think people need to reassess what they thought they know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Just to touch back on a couple of things, I grew up, my grandmother believed in reincarnation. She was a Christian, I guess, or Catholic. When I was baptized, but she was convinced that one of the stories that her grandmother raised her, ironically, too. And right
Oh,
after her grandmother died, her name is Jenny, the place that she used to get her hair done, there was a dog in the parking lot, and she rescued the dog. The dog's name was Clarabelle, my dog when I was a kid, too. And she was convinced that this dog was her grandmother, you know? And my whole beginning of life was based around the fact that reincarnation is an actual thing, not so much like heaven and hell. It's more like if you do bad, you're gonna get reincarnated as an ant, or if you do good, you're a bird or whatever the rules are. There was never any rules set in her mind. Maybe they were, but I do believe, just to touch on that religion part, the reason I'm not like full on anything, I mean, it might sound stupid or like, oh, I'm so deep because I'm four, that Reddit or I'm deep as I'm 14, whatever the fuck that is. It's like we're put here, we don't know anything, like, and I hate this whole thing where everybody's so certain about everything. Like, oh, I'm certain about this politics and the Epstein list and this, and because you're a piece of shit, because you're a Republican, you're a piece because you're a liberal, you listen to this, your
yeah.
religion sucks. Everybody's so fucking certain about everything, but we're all idiots on this stupid rock. We're supposed to be clueless. So that's why, and just going back to like the belief system, I have a hard time believing in anything that's like certain and just going with my own gut and saying like, well, common sense is like, let me not do harm to others. Let me
That's
do the
funny. You
best I
just said that.
can.
You just said
Whoa,
going
go.
with your
Yeah,
gut. Isn't that weird?
that's cool.
You had no
Yeah.
idea I was wearing that shirt, did you?
Oh, I didn't
That's
know.
crazy. Whoa, that was cool. Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's okay. Buckle up, AJ. No, just kidding. I got my X shirt on actually.
Yeah, you do.
Um, yeah. Yeah, so I mean when I know it's just like it could be anything. We don't know. We don't know.
Well,
Why
it
are
all
we
comes
why are we all so certain about everything?
exactly. It all comes back to love. And actually, uncertainty is what makes life so freaking awesome. Like I just did the Tony Robbins thing, and he talks about humans need certainty to have a good life, but they also need uncertainty, which is like variety, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not like uncertainty in the sense of like a plane
Yeah.
crashing into your house, but
Yeah.
hey, what are we going to do today? More like uncertainty. And I think, no religion has it right. All religions are man-made. I don't think Jesus came to set up Christianity the way we have it. Like there's 20 flavors of Jesus. There's Lutheran, Methodist, Catholic, Presbyterian. Now there's Jehovah's Witness and Mormon, everything. Like Jesus did not, I wouldn't say he would want that. He would want everybody to be cohesive and follow the love your neighbor rule and love God. And that's
Yeah.
actually a common theme that's coming back with all the NDE interviews that I've seen and that I'm doing is they say God is love. And it's going to sound so cliche, but like the purpose of life is to love others and be happy and just do
Yeah.
good for the world, whether you're writing new music or you're volunteering at the soup kitchen or whatever it is. And what religion is best, the common answer that comes back is whatever religion makes you closer to God. So yes, it's man-made. Yes, they have some kooky rules, or you wear a suit and tie, or you pray a certain thing, or you read a certain book, or whatever it is. But like Oh, it's whatever makes you closer to God. And I know we don't have to get into this, but like there's obviously some religions out there that are like antithetical, like they do stupid, wacky things and they hurt people. So
Hmm.
I think that also is what gives a regular person who has no concept of spirituality, that's what would totally turn them off. So when I meet someone that's an atheist or an agnostic, there's like no judgment. I'm just like, oh yeah, I get it. I can see why you'd be that. I totally get it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't judge anybody for any. It could be. I've met some cool Muslims, Islam, atheists, hardcore Christians. Like my wife's mother is like really Catholic, and she's always talking about God and stuff. But she's a great woman. I would never judge her for her beliefs. But like you just said, like maybe or maybe it's an NDE thing in general, where you're kind of like, whoa, wait a second, like we don't know anything. Obviously, our brain got shook up so much, and or whatever in some situations that you're like, who knows at the end. Like you said, just gotta do good and go with your gut. Just kidding.
So your car, when your car hit that tree going 60, you don't have any more car, and that car was also your home at the time, like you were living.
No, that was like a different time. So this was like some kid that came over. He's like, "You want to borrow my car?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Salvatore, whatever the heck his name is. And I felt bad. Honestly, a couple weeks later, I'm like, "Oh my God, I messed up Sal's car." And then this guy, whatever kid or guy, he's like, "It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. It was like a $300 car. It wasn't even registered.
Oh
There's no
wow,
insurance.
no
I didn't have a
insurance,
license. Yeah, it was a completely illegal situation. So it's like
and
whatever."
no jail time. Just cops were nice to you.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's
Yeah,
lucky. I mean,
I know.
some of the stuff I've seen these days, like you're gonna get a double trouble,
Mm.
fines, jail time. You got to buy a new tree for that yard or whatever.
I know. Yeah.
You got the
Yeah.
squirrels that were living in the tree. You got to pay for them to relocate to another tree somewhere else, and the Park Service has to go get the squirrels. You're paying for those fees too. Yeah, so that's interesting. So, and then you said you heard a voice very clearly tell you about music. Can you talk about that
Yeah.
experience? What happened there?
Yeah. I lived in California for 10 years. So I'll just go back to the story. I can continue the story and right to that point. I'm a quick storyteller. I don't go into detail too much. So like right after the accident, I was homeless again, like I said, and I got a job somehow at Big Sisters, like they'll call me like, "Hello, my name's Tony," or Antonio, because I went by Antonio at that time. That's my legal name. Don't look me up. I'm just kidding. My name is Tony. I'm calling from Big Sisters or having a donation drive or, use clothes, blah, blah, blah. So I started working. I got a job, which was crazy. And um, I wound up going, like, I was walking by a college and I had a wash because I was dirty. And I went inside the college to use their bathrooms. And after I left, they're like, "Do you want to come here and enroll?" And I was like, "What are you talking? Like, I'm homeless. Like, why would you even come here?" Like, we have three programs: law enforcement, nursing, and computers. And I was like, which one deals with the least amount of people? And they're like, computers. Then I'm like, okay, I'll fill it out. Didn't think anything of it, honestly. But they wound up kind of like accept. It was a private college that went out of business recently. They're called Gibbs College. They used to be called Catherine Gibbs. They were like a women's college, but then they evolved or whatever. But they're defunct now, which is great for me because I signed the papers and all this stuff. And they gave me a job like in the computer lab watching the computers, and that's where I learned how to do what I do, code and website stuff. And right after that I moved to California. I hitched a ride to California right before I graduated. It was a year of certification. I was like, let me just take this and run as far as I can. I didn't know anybody here and it was cold, and I always wanted to get to California. And in California, I worked my way up to Silicon Valley. I was working for eBay and PayPal, and they were paying me a lot of money to write code for them, which is crazy. But I was also kind of really like lost and lonely and doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing in life. Came very close to death many times. And
Really? From
one
like
time,
partying or I'm
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
yeah, no, 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 it's okay. That's exactly why. But yeah, too many things, too many options out there and too much freedom. I think sometimes if you don't have your head on straight, you're just kind of like, yeah, woo, Silk Road exists on tour. I don't know if you know about Silk Road.
I've
I
heard
used
of
to
it.
just watch stuff and but yeah, one time I was just laying there in bed and I was like, what am I doing? And this voice like booming in my head. I've never heard anything like it. I'm not, and like we've been talking about religion. I don't have anything. I'm not that type of person that's like, God, geez, even mentioning it, honestly.
Hmm.
But it went in my head and it said, don't, something like, don't stop writing music, like loud. And it was like, I was like, what the hell was that? I started crying. And
Oh
right from
yeah.
that point is where everything changed. I was like, what am I doing? This is 10 years into my stay, my stint, I like to call it. And I quit my job. I was working at eBay making $125 an hour. It was great money and all that, but I was like, you know what? I'm not happy here. I don't like the people here. I don't like the food here. I don't like that there's no fall here. I miss people being fast. I know you're on the West Coast, and no offense, but people in like New York to me or Rhode Island where I was born, more like faster type. The Bay Area was just like, yeah, everybody's flying slow. So I just drove all the way back across the country, and that's how I wound back up in Rhode Island and meeting my wife. And then we moved to New York, and here I am talking to you. So like, there's been this like roller coaster of luck or whatever you call it in my life. I'm still alive. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad. Thank you for this. I don't really talk about it often at all, really. The only
Hmm.
person I talk about is with my wife. Sometimes I'll put a tweet out there. Nobody cares about that. But like, I used to be homeless. Like nobody cares. But it is kind of good to like get it out because I don't really talk about it enough. I don't it feels kind of cathartic.
That's awesome. I'm glad I could be a part of that. And honestly, you're helping me too. I'm having some roller coasters with my own life. I think you
Mm.
know a little bit about my story. Like I was in LA. I was born in California. I did my public TV show with my friends. We won a best comedy award nationwide film festival at the Indie Gathering. We thought we were hot stuff, so we all moved down to LA from the 805 area, Central California, straight into Hollywood, and I was sleeping on their floor in Echo Park right by Dodger Stadium, and no money. Like collect. I think we were collecting unemployment, and I think maybe one of us had a job, and I just got into the Hollywood machine and did a lot of background acting and then I got into rideshare driving like Uber and Lyft. Like I still have my fuzzy pink mustache in my on my bookshelf in the other room. And so yeah, that actually kind of saved my noodle. And I saved up a bunch of money. Then I moved to Utah, fixed up this old property I'm in, and I did great with Airbnb for like almost 10 years. And then recently I just had the rug pulled out from under me where I had an ornery guest. She actually broke this glass door behind me, which I'm getting replaced in like a week. They're finally getting a new door here 2 months later because it's kind of middle of nowhere. But the point is that broken door turned into an insurance thing. It turned into a huge misunderstanding, and my guest called me racist.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I
so
remember.
then
Okay.
I don't know if I'll include this part, but Airbnb basically just took her side of the story and they just
Uh,
closed my account. So my whole income, like 90% of my income, just got ripped away. And I'm just like,
mm.
why did that have to happen that way? Is this all predestined? Did I choose this life, like, before I started it? And then you get a tabula rasa, like your brain gets wiped clean. You don't know you have to have these life experiences. So you learn your lessons, whether it's be nicer to
Like,
people.
like it's just a door, AJ.
Just a door. Yeah. But it's like,
It's like, why am I here?
well, it's like I really enjoyed what I was doing, and to have that income taken from me, I'm like, well, I need to do
Yeah.
something else. And I actually consulted with a life mentor, and he's like, why don't you get back into your YouTube channel? Like,
Mm.
interview people and develop your communication style. And I said, that's so true. I know so many interesting people from social media. So that's why I'm here doing this, and I'm glad you could be a part of it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So this is like you're going for this that's set on like all different, not just this channel, but you're doing multiple ones, right? Like kind of throwing what against the wall and seeing what sticks, or is it just like,
I think I'm just gonna have like an NDE series on this YouTube channel, and I'm not gonna make a separate channel right now because I need to make the money. So this channel is already monetized. If I start a whole new channel, you have to get 1,000 subscribers before you can monetize it, and that would
gotcha.
take a while.
Yeah.
So I'm doing like interesting interviews with like business people and book authors, and then NDE is also like a really interesting thing. It's just coming up as a recurring theme. I just talked to a business guy. He was in an exploding house. He was working on a house with all these fumes, and he survived an explosion in the house, which was super interesting. And then the homeowner, he was a contractor working on a bathtub and spraying like epoxy enamel. So, and he had just let his contractor insurance expire like a week prior. And then the house blows up. His shoes are melted onto his feet, and his clothes are on fire. And he goes out into the grass to stop, drop, and roll, and like try to feel the moisture of the grass on his skin while he's burning. And it's such an interesting story. And then the guy sues him. The homeowner sues him for like $400,000, and he loses. So this guy made all this money and then just loses all his money. And so there's like interesting stories like business lessons, and so kind of that's what the channel's about. So.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I wish you the best of luck, of course. If you ever need help, like digitally, that's what I do, websites and shit like that. Monetize. I don't do YouTube, I don't do social. My wife kind of does social, but like I build sites that have WooCommerce or like analytics and search console and stuff.
Can I ask you, you're hustling with your music then? Like you're making money. Are you still performing places or
I mean, it's very no. I mean, it's very few and far between. I literally only I don't even consider myself a musician. It's so funny, but
but
like
you're so damn good. Like I've heard you
no,
play
I've been
cover songs and
I appreciate it. I have a
wait,
love hate
sorry, did you ever
related.
go to the piano bar in Los Angeles?
I've been to the piano bar in Rhode Island, but it's
Okay.
similar. The dueling pianos is cool, and they
Yeah.
call out and like, tell us a song.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never
you'd
been
be
to the
good
one
at
in LA.
that, I would think. I'm sorry, you were saying you have a love-hate
No,
relationship?
no, I'd love to do a piano bar, honestly. Yeah, like honestly, music has both messed up my life and made it better, you know. So I kind of have this like love hate. I'm very cautious about throwing things to the wind and being like, "Oh, I'm a musician" or whatever, because I feel like every time I say that, I'm cursed,
Oh, fun.
like I'm gonna get in another accident or something like that. But music is not, I mean, I do make money sometimes, they'll tip me, but like it's not that much money all in all, probably like it's probably pathetic, like $100 from last year. It doesn't matter. It's when I get the money though, or 200, when I get it, I'm like, hell yeah, like this is better. I used to be on street corners with a hat, like and a guitar, you know, like a quarter would be amazing. Never mind $10. Somebody, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
amazing that somebody can hear you online and be like, here you go, here's a little bit of money. So that's not my main thing. My piano's right over there. I always look at it in case you see me looking over there. But like, I love music with all my heart, but I will never, ever, I probably will tomorrow, be like, you know what? I'm gonna be a musician. My wife's gonna be like, no, what are you talking about? I won't
yeah,
like dive into it because I'm fair. And I love what I do. I love code. I love tech. I love AI now.
that's good.
You know, I have kids and a wife. I won't be like, I'm gonna be a musician. You know, that's crazy talk.
You know what?
But
Go ahead.
X giving you that a bit like ability to do a performance live digitally, it satisfies everything that I ever wanted, you know. I don't gotta be there, I don't gotta go set up and have, you know, all the wires and this and that and put it in a car. I hated that part. Just like on I hate the part of music that I have to produce or record. I like just performing. That's the only part I like to do. And this gives me the ability to put a phone above my head, pretty good quality, and just play, you know. That's the best thing about it. So but I won't put all my effort into it. Everybody keeps saying like you should, but
Well,
not
if you ever
crazy.
feel so inspired, you might go that route. You know, it's funny is
Yeah, I mean, AI might go crazy, and then I won't have any. The like, if someone could say make this website like one button, and it makes the best website they've ever made, then I'll be like, okay, I guess I'm a musician, and
you're
I'll
out of a
go
job. Yeah, I
gotta
mean,
use my human skills.
we talked about reincarnation earlier, and I've always kind of, so I'm in like getting into late 40s now. Probably not going to be a rock star this go around. Um, basic guitar skills, basic piano skills, a little bit of performance. I
Yeah,
get performance anxiety in front of a big enough crowd. When church is out and I can just go to that beautiful grand piano and play it for a few minutes by myself, there's maybe a dozen people still lingering, no performance anxiety. But if it's a concert with my name on it, just butterflies, and
yeah,
there's no way. So
I'm
I
sure.
asked a guy I was talking to before you, Aaron Green, who had like a real out of body and met the spirit guides and God and all that. We were absolutely convinced reincarnation is a real thing. I said, so can I come back as a rock star with a golden voice and better looks and everything if I really want to do that? He's like, actually, yes, you can. You totally can do that. However, there could be some trade-offs. Like, you know, you got so many women coming at you, you're going to catch I'm elaborating, but you catch STDs, or you're going to have
Yeah.
heartbreak or lawsuits, or your ego is going to get in the way of your faith, and so you think
Mm.
you are better than everybody else or something. So it's like, yeah, there could be trade-offs if you come back as a rock star, but I just thought now I have a comfort about it because I used to think, man, I missed my chance. I never got the band started when I was in my 20s. I should have gone to more open mics. I should have done more albums. I actually did you said Love and Hate earlier. That was my first album. It was called Love and Hate in Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Crazy.
that was the title of the first album. Just self-produced.
That's
Um,
funny. It sounds like the thoughts you have are similar to my thoughts. I was watching the Grammys. I know nobody watches the Grammys, whatever. I watch every live music show. It doesn't matter to me what they're talking about, what their position on anything is. But like I was kind of watching, I was like thinking like, wow, like life, if I did follow music, it could be not to say I'm not gonna be on the Grammys, who knows? But like you said, I do consider myself, I am talented. I have songs in my head and stuff, but it's just like there is like a disconnect where I'm like, like music. But like I did think like, well, things could be different, if you really follow it. And maybe, like you said, the next go around, who knows? But like we said, it's almost like the genie, from Aladdin or whatever genie is like, be careful what you wish for, because you're gonna you're gonna get the opposite of it, or something flawed with the good. So, but
Absolutely,
maybe we'll be in a band together next time.
dude.
Call it the
Okay,
Headless Ones.
I'm glad you said that. Let's keep this in mind. So, because this is so trippy now. Okay, one more topic, at least one more topic here.
Mm.
Soulmates doesn't have to be like a sexual partner. Your soulmate
Okay.
could be like a friend that's like a brother where you just get each other's backs. Like, so 21 Pilots comes to mind. Like the camaraderie that those two guys have, Josh and
Mm.
Tyler. Like that's like, I'll get your back, bro. You got a flat tire at 3 in the morning, I'm there.
Yep.
Like that's I want that soulmate camaraderie where you're like, maybe those two guys is all you need to have a really solid musical duo, and maybe
Yep.
more people come in the band. But that's that's always kind of something I've craved, and I don't know why I just didn't hit it in this lifetime. It's more like real estate, learning how to be a man and fix things around the house, um, and a school of hard knocks with like getting scammed. But I guess this is all just part of what I got to deal with. And there's a comfort, like with all the ups and downs we talked about, like crashing your car or getting scammed or whatever it is, going through a breakup. It's like, yeah, it's all gonna be okay. It's we're all gonna like what is Modest Mouse has that song, we all float on or whatever. Like we're
Yeah.
all gonna float on.
Okay.
It's all gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Or like
Look,
Weezer has an album, Everything Will Be All Right in the End. I
yeah.
really like that album, the last three songs, and it's like, yeah, if it's not all right, then it's not the end. So
Yeah. I like Weezer too. Yeah, it's like I always think about every time I get down on my head, it's just a stupid, most common sense thing, but like we are alive. I just saw this morning my old boss died. He was 49 years old or something crazy. Bill Gadless. He had esophageal cancer. I didn't know anything about that, but just looking at him, like he was just a sprightly, he was a coder. I think, or he did websites and stuff, but just like he's done. That's it. Whether or not there's anything after, whether or not he's going up, down, reincarnated, come back, whatever it is, this part is done. And that fear or whatever it is, or at least acknowledgement. Maybe it's not fear. The older you get, the more real it becomes, because
oh
they're not
yeah.
here forever, and we're halfway there. If that, the what is the age, like 76 or something like that. You seem like you're in pretty good health, but like things can happen tomorrow. You never know. Just like you had with the log. Maybe that voice is not gonna be there at that time to be like, go under, whatever. So
So true. Yeah, boating out here at the lake and cliff jumping. There's usually like on average one
yeah.
death every, or hiking on the edge of the canyons out here in
Yeah.
southern Utah, northern
You
Arizona.
share some stuff. I see some stuff from you, like doing the whole, what is it called? We're on the. I'm like,
Just
what the
cliff
fuck?
cliff jumping or
Anything. I'm always like, this guy's compared to any person I know on X that I'm a friend with. You're definitely the the
oh
daredevil.
oh thanks man. Yeah, have a little fun. Yeah, just uh, yeah, hiking in Zion or cliff jumping a little bit. I always had fun backflipping when I was a kid. There was a swimming pool, public pool out here with a really high diving board. And we do this
Mm.
thing where we just try as many backflips as we can before we hit the water. And we don't care if we hit our face or we hit our butt and got like an enema or something. We just backflip as many times. And so I've always been able to still do at least a single backflip, which is fun for me. And
That's
I don't know,
crazy.
it's impressive.
Do it.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Ready?
that's actually been I tried to do a backflip standing on a flat surface on the ground. Can't do it. I almost
Really?
broke my neck, and so
Yeah.
to this day I still get neck pain from that stupid attempt.
I
But
know. I was at a trampoline park and I was trying to impress my kids, and I was like, "Look at me!" Literally landed right on my neck. Could have died right there at what is it, Sky Zone or whatever.
oh,
Doesn't hurt anymore like yours, but
that'd be
it's
such an
stupid stuff.
embarrassing way to die in front of
I
your
know.
kids.
Oh my God, I think about it too much. I'm like, oh, like I gotta not do anything like that because I don't want to traumatize them. Or like, I can never trampoline again. He
Did
died
that turn into
right
a
in front of us.
that must have been a chiropractor visit afterwards?
You know what's weird? Not to change the subject. My chiropractor, which I don't really go to, but his name is my name is Antonio Vincenzo Ciccarone. His name is Antonio Vincenzo too. Isn't that weird?
That
Not
is
the same.
weird.
That'd be crazy, but
Small world, man. That's crazy.
mm.
Well, cool, man. We talked about music. We talked about life and death and business. Any other topics you want to talk about, or?
No, I mean, I do want to say, like I said a few times, you're a very talented person. I know you probably have, you said like social anxiety when you go play in front of people, but you shouldn't have it. You're one of the best ones on here.
Ah,
Know that. You're a good person, I think. And I do hope everything, works out for you. Airbnbs or whatever path you're going to succeed on. I do believe that you will succeed. You do seem pretty determined and good head on your shoulders. So
you
that's
too,
it. I
brother.
appreciate it.
And I wish I had your level of confidence when you're doing your live performance. I mean, I do some like lives as well on social media, but
Yeah.
that's until I get to a city with a bigger demographic, it's probably just going to be me live on social media. Which, if I ever do more music and performing, this is good preparation. Yeah, maybe 10 or 15 people are tuning in, and you goof up really bad. It's not like it was 1,000 people. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. The more you do it and the more you mess up, the better. The better for me, at least. The more confident I become. Now I just don't care, and it's probably to a fault that I don't care.
I
I
think it's
get
good
sloppy,
actually.
but
How
yeah, it just
can go ahead?
no. I was just gonna say it feels better when you don't care as much and you just play from the heart. When nobody's here, when I'm alone in the dark with a candle like a weirdo, I sound fucking phenomenal. I'll play some Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. You wouldn't think a guy like me with this weird nasally voice,
Oh
but I
yeah.
don't care. Like my tone is weird, but I'll play a song to its heart. And I love Whitney Houston. I love those songs, the classics and the standards that are like well-written songs. So like why when I play alone, how come I can't do that for everybody else and have
Yeah.
them experience that same energy? So that's the kind of like motivation that motivates me to like not care. Like, oh, what if they listen? Like, who cares anymore? I don't know you. You don't know me. We'll never meet you. Who cares? So
And the best part too, when you're in that moment when it's like you and a candle and you're not even recording, and then you're
mm,
improvising on a song and it just comes together perfect, like an inversion or something that you don't normally do, and like, whoa, why wasn't I recording? How can people find you on social media? If people follow
I
you?
am at Tony Ciccarone. That's my rhyming name that rhymes with every Italian food in the world. Tony Ciccarone eats macaroni, pepperoni, ravioli. I mean, if you just Google my name, TonyCiccarone, you'll find all sorts of things. My company is Three Tone Digital. We do websites, marketing, SEO. It's just me and my wife. We live in Clifton Park, New York, right outside of Albany, 3 hours south of Canada. I'm on the East Coast. You'll find my music. You'll find my social media. You'll find this Facebook group that I run that's blowing up called Clifton Park Spark. Has 2,000 members fighting about Trump and Biden and Obama. Who
Oh dear.
cares?
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
everything. Uh,
Yeah. I've never made any money trying to convince someone of my political opinion. That's not my bag.
I know, for real. It's funny. I'm the only place I'm monetized, which is really ironic because I hate Facebook, is Facebook.
Oh,
They
gee.
monetize me. Every post I put there now. So I made a website, cliftonparkspark.com, whatever. So
Hmm.
it's local news. Every post gets like $3. And before I was doing it for free, and I'm like, oh, there's like $80 waiting there. And again, these are low amounts, but like I would be doing it for free. Who the hell cares? So
Yeah.
Facebook is paying me. It's crazy.
That's something unique about communication. My major was in communication. I volunteered in public access television. I did my own comedy thing, and so getting back into this is a lot of fun for me. And I love meeting new people. And because I live in a remote area, this is like also my social time. I do have friends. I had some really
Yeah.
good friends move away, so I don't see them anymore. But I'm making new friends, and it's always good to have digital friends. So
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I went to Utah once. I drove through going to California actually, Salt Lake City. And I tasted the salt and I was like, "Oh my God." I always say it. I've been saying it not just because I'm talking to you, but I say Utah's the most beautiful state I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. Driving through and I was like, "This is like a postcard everywhere you look."